It started with an innocent knock on the door. I remember it clearly, one of those lazy Sunday afternoons where everything feels just a little too quiet. I was in the kitchen, drying dishes, when the doorbell rang. My son, Josh, shouted from upstairs, "It's probably Aaron." That name instantly brought a smile to my face. Aaron had been like part of the family for years, ever since he and Josh became best friends in the 8th grade. He practically grew up in our house, and there was a comfort in that. He was polite, funny, a little awkward at times, but always respectful. Or so I thought. At first, it felt like nothing had changed. Aaron would drop by, raid the fridge, joke around with Josh, and occasionally stay for dinner. I never thought twice about it. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. I started noticing small things, his glances lasting a bit too long, the way he would find reasons to talk to me when Josh wasn't around, and how he always seemed to linger a few moments longer than necessary. It was subtle. Easy to brush off. But deep down, I felt it. That quiet discomfort that you can't explain, only feel. I told myself I was imagining things. That maybe I was overthinking it. I mean, he was just a kid, right? He'd known me since he was 13. I was just Josh's mom. But the truth is, Aaron wasn't a kid anymore. He had grown up tall, confident, and clearly aware of the effect he had on people. And as much as I hate to admit it, there was a part of me that noticed him too. Still, I kept my distance. I had to. I loved my son more than anything in the world, and I would never do anything to hurt him. But Aaron, he didn't seem to understand boundaries the way he used to. One evening, while Josh was out with friends, Aaron came by unannounced. Said he forgot something at the house. I let him in, thinking it was harmless. He stood in the doorway for a moment, just looking at me, like he had something to say but didn't know how to say it. There was tension in the air, heavy and confusing. And then, out of nowhere, he said something that shook me to my core. That was the moment I realized we had crossed into dangerous territory. A line had been drawn, and he had stepped right over it. But what happened next, even I didn't see coming. He looked at me, eyes steady, not like the boy I'd watched grow up, but someone older. Someone different. And then he said it. "I've been thinking about you. A lot." Just like that. No hesitation. No smile. Just the truth hanging there between us like thick smoke in the air. I froze. My hands still damp from washing dishes. My heart started pounding so loud I could barely hear my own thoughts. I didn't know what to say. Was this a joke? Some clumsy attempt at flirting? But when I looked at him, I knew it wasn't a joke. It was real. And that's what scared me the most. I stepped back, trying to create distance, but my mind was spinning. This boy, this young man, who used to sit at my dinner table, who I'd driven to soccer practice, helped with homework, he was now looking at me like I was someone else. Not a mother. Not a family friend. But something else entirely. My instinct told me to shut it down, to remind him of who I was. Of who he was. But a strange silence took over, and before I could even respond, he said, "I know it's wrong, but I can't pretend anymore." I snapped out of it and told him firmly to leave. He did. No argument. No drama. Just walked out the door quietly, like he knew this wasn't over. After he left, I sat on the couch in shock. The house was quiet again, but not the peaceful kind of quiet. It was the kind that made you question everything. I kept asking myself, had I done something to lead him on? Was I blind to this building up for months? But deep down, I already knew the answer. This wasn't random. This had been growing under the surface all along. The days that followed were strange. I avoided Aaron, hoping it was just a moment of confusion on his part, that maybe he would come to his senses and we could all pretend it never happened. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. He stopped coming by, and Josh noticed right away. "Why hasn't Aaron been around?" he asked one evening at dinner. "You guys fight or something?" I tried to act normal, just shrugged and said, "Maybe he's just busy." But the truth sat heavy in my chest. How could I tell my son that his best friend, practically his brother, had started looking at me in a way that no mother ever wants to be looked at by her child's friend? I started feeling paranoid. Every time my phone buzzed, I half expected it to be a message from Aaron. I stopped wearing anything remotely nice around the house. I pulled away from Josh a little too, which only made the guilt worse. He had no idea the shift that had happened behind his back. And he didn't deserve to get caught in something so twisted. Then, about a week later, I saw Aaron again. At the grocery store. He spotted me from across the aisle and walked over like nothing had happened. But there was something in his eyes, calm, almost calculated. He asked how I was, if Josh was okay. I kept it short, trying to keep things casual. But then he leaned in slightly and whispered, "I still mean what I said." My stomach turned. That wasn't a teenage crush. That was something else, something deeper, more intentional. And now I couldn't help but wonder, was I the only one he had changed with? Or had this been building in ways I hadn't seen before? I left the grocery store that day with my heart racing and my hands shaking. I couldn't think straight. His words kept replaying in my mind. "I still mean what I said." It wasn't just a passing comment anymore, it was a warning, or maybe a challenge. I didn't know. All I knew was that whatever had started between us, silently and unintentionally, was now out in the open, and it wasn't going away. That night, I barely slept. I kept replaying every moment, every look, every small exchange that had once seemed harmless. I tried to convince myself that I had imagined it all, but I hadn't. And now, the fear of losing my son's trust was growing faster than anything else. If Josh found out, if he even sensed something was wrong, everything would fall apart. Our family, our home, our peace. Gone. Then came the worst moment yet. Josh came home from a party the following weekend, looking confused and a little angry. He dropped his keys on the counter and said, "Aaron was acting weird tonight." Like, really weird. He asked me if I trusted you. I froze. My throat went dry. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Josh shrugged. "I don't know." He kept bringing up the past, asking stuff like if I ever thought people could hide things, even people close to you. It was just off. Like he was trying to say something without saying it. My mind spiraled. Aaron wasn't just crossing a line anymore, he was starting to blur it. Playing games. Creating doubt. And now Josh was caught in the middle of something he didn't even understand. I could feel everything cracking around me. And the worst part was, I still didn't know what Aaron would do next. The following morning, I found an envelope slid under our front door. No name. No handwriting. Just plain white paper, folded in half. My heart dropped before I even picked it up. I opened it with shaky fingers, and there it was. A printed photo. Me and Aaron. From months ago. We were standing in the kitchen, laughing over something silly, probably while cooking. But the way the photo was framed, it looked like something else. Too close. Too personal. Like it was meant to tell a different story. My blood ran cold. Someone had taken it. Someone had been watching us. I stood frozen in the hallway, trying to breathe. This wasn't just about Aaron anymore. Someone knew. Or someone thought they knew. And now they were making sure I didn't forget it. My mind raced with possibilities. Had Aaron taken the photo? Was he threatening me? Or was this someone else entirely, someone who had seen something they shouldn't have? That same day, I got a text from an unknown number. "Still think no one will find out?" That was the moment the fear turned into panic. I couldn't hide behind silence anymore. This wasn't just a personal problem, it was spiraling into something darker, something that could destroy my life. I started thinking about my job, my reputation, my son. If this ever got out, even just as a rumor, it would ruin everything. Later that evening, Josh came into my room, his expression tense. "Aaron texted me again," he said. "He wants to talk about you. He said there's something I should know." I kept my face still, trying not to let the dread show. I asked Josh what he planned to do, and he said, "I told him to come over tomorrow." Tomorrow. That one word echoed in my head like a countdown. I didn't know what Aaron was planning to say, or who had sent the photo, or how far this would go. But one thing was certain, tomorrow, everything was going to change. And I wasn't sure if I was ready for the truth, or the fallout that would come with it. The next evening came faster than I expected. Every hour felt like a countdown to something I couldn't fully prepare for. I barely spoke to Josh all day. He thought I was just tired, maybe stressed from work. I couldn't bring myself to tell him the truth, not yet. Not until I knew what Aaron was going to do. When the doorbell rang around 7, I felt the air in the room shift. Josh opened it, and there he was, Aaron, standing on the porch like nothing had happened. But I could see it in his eyes. He wasn't here to make peace. He had something to say, and I was terrified to hear it. They sat in the living room. I stayed nearby, pretending to tidy up, but my ears were on high alert. Aaron cleared his throat. "Josh. I need to tell you something. About your mom." My heart nearly stopped. But then, he paused. Looked at me. Looked back at Josh. And then, he did something I never expected. "She's been like a second mom to me for years," Aaron said. "And lately, I've been going through a rough time. I thought I had feelings for her, and I said something I shouldn't have. It was my mistake. She didn't do anything wrong." Josh looked confused. "Wait, what?" Aaron nodded, eyes steady. "She didn't encourage it. She actually pushed me away. I let my emotions get the best of me." My mouth opened slightly, stunned. That wasn't what I thought he would say. He was taking the blame, completely. Was it guilt? Regret? Or something else? Josh looked at me, then back at Aaron. "So why the weird texts? Why all the games?" Aaron hesitated. "Because someone's been watching us. And it wasn't me." That's when the twist came. He pulled out his phone, opened a folder of screenshots. Messages from a private account. Threats. Photos. The same ones I'd seen. "I think someone's been following me," he said. "And they're trying to ruin both of us." It hit me then, this wasn't just about a boy's confused feelings. Someone else had been pulling strings behind the scenes. And just when I thought it was over, Aaron added, "I think it's someone we both know. Someone close to Josh." That's when everything truly fell apart. Josh stared at Aaron, stunned. "Someone we know?" "Who?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Aaron didn't answer right away. Instead, he handed Josh his phone. On the screen was a familiar name, Kyle. One of Josh's other close friends. Someone who had always been around, but quieter, always lingering in the background. My heart sank. Kyle had always seemed harmless, even kind. But apparently, he had seen more than we realized. According to Aaron, Kyle had started acting strangely after he caught him at our house alone a few months ago. Aaron didn't think much of it at the time, but now the pieces were coming together. The messages, the photos, the threats, it was Kyle. Driven by jealousy, or maybe something deeper, something twisted. Josh's hands trembled as he scrolled through the screenshots. "Why would he do this?" he muttered. Aaron shrugged. "Maybe he thought I had something he didn't. Or maybe he just wanted to see what would happen if he pulled the right strings." The next day, Josh confronted Kyle. There was no denying it, Kyle broke down almost instantly, overwhelmed by guilt and fear. He admitted to everything. Said he never meant for it to go this far. He just wanted to cause trouble between Aaron and me, but it spiraled out of control. Josh was furious, but hurt more than anything. He cut Kyle off completely and apologized to me for ever doubting my silence. As for Aaron, things slowly settled. He moved on, eventually started seeing someone his own age, and with time, we found a respectful distance again. Whatever strange emotions had sparked between us faded, replaced by something more honest, an understanding that mistakes happen, but it's what we do next that matters. Looking back, the story could have ended very differently. But I'm grateful it didn't. I learned that even when the truth is uncomfortable, it's better than living in silence or fear. And I saw how quickly trust can break, but also how it can be rebuilt, piece by piece. So yes, he was my son's best friend. Then he crossed a line. But sometimes the real danger doesn't come from what's obvious, it comes from the shadows just beyond it.